Chairman of the Kenya Rugby Union, Mr. Sasha Mutai, thank you so much for joining us on Sport On. And also joined by a former Kenya Lionesses player, Sinaida Aura, who I think I'll start the conversation with because just a few hours before this show started, you had shared something last week regarding the Kenya Lionesses, and you commented again today with that same quote, just saying, things are not good at the Kenya Lionesses. How bad is it? Very bad.
It's actually despicable because these girls have not been paid for the last 7 months, let's say 6 to 7 months. They go to training every day. They show up. They still have responsibilities back home. You know, some are still in school, some are parents, some are breadwinners back home. And it's very, like that hit a nerve because I was once there. Luckily, at least I had something else that I was doing. But it's actually very hard to balance when your mind is split between what you really love to do and what you have to do. Yeah, so yeah, that's why I spoke up about it. And I feel like it's not something that we should be talking about in this day and age. I joined the national team in 2014. It's something we spoke about then. This is 10 years later. 2 Olympics later, a third one coming. Literally, the same issues, the same cries, the same challenges. It really is alarming. It really is a red flag. Yeah.
Snyder, and it's happened, like you said, for 7 months, but there must be something that pushed you there last week. Like there must be the breaking point, like the point that made you feel, no, we can't take this anymore.
The breaking point is when you have, so just because I'm not part of the national team setup anymore does not mean I've cut ties with some of the current players, right? And a lot of them are still my friends. Yes. And when someone who's a national treasure is reaching out to you because they don't have a meal, that's painful. That hurts, right? This is someone who dons the national team jerseys. This is someone who gets backlash when they don't perform. But they can barely put a meal. They can barely have a meal. So I feel like that really just broke my heart, and I had to speak up. And I felt like having walked in those shoes, if I don't, then who will?
Yeah. Look, you started in 2014. Has anything changed at all in terms of how the ladies are treated at the national team between 2014 and 2024? Because I interviewed your TM before 2021 Olympics, and she spoke in great detail as to the struggles of the team. Now, you're here 3 years later, it's the same thing, and it makes me wonder, between 14 and 24, has it changed in any way? Has it gotten worse?
I would say it has gotten worse just because that's 10 years. It can only get better. It shouldn't be getting worse, right? And still we were running around chasing issues of allowances. You know, we're running around chasing issues of we don't have proper facilities, you know, insurance, something basic as water at training. And it's the same case now. As we speak, I'm sure I can confirm that the girls don't have insurance. I can confirm that they go to training, and sometimes, so after training, usually there's a meal, right, just to recover your energy. After training, sometimes they don't get the meal because the supplier has not been paid. It's the little things. They have a competition in about 5 weeks in Poland. Currently, they are placed 5th in the World Challenger Series, and we expect them to perform. We expect them to make a name. How?
How does it compare to how Shujaa are treated?
Oh, it's different. It's different. For a fact, women are treated as children of a lesser God. For a fact. I can confirm that right now, the men are not in arrears, but the women are. Why?
Chairman, I'm guessing you want to chime in.
Yes, why? Simply because the women's team, the Lionesses, don't have a sponsor. I will agree it's not an ideal situation. I just want also to correct in terms of the numbers. So yes, we admit that, you know, the Kenya Lionesses, the women 7s and 15s, we share the same pool. So when they're all together, it's around 45 players. And so I'll correct the situation. Yes, we are 6 months behind on some players and 3 months behind on some players. But when we came into office, we encountered 8 months arrears. And now that they're not being treated the same, I can say things have changed. So the Lionesses and Shujaa have the same training. In fact, we had the camp for the first time now. They've been treated the same, and because also they're following the same program. Because
Just
the
help me
Challenger
understand, what
series,
is the same? When you
the
say
same, the same
what is
now.
the definition?
Basically, the Shuja main sponsor is SportPesa. Lionesses don't have a sponsor. We are in talks now with Safaricom and with SportPesa to come in. In terms of insurance as well, bringing in both Shuja and Lionesses into, we've been talking to Safaricom to get the insurance that they have for their staff to come in. So this is at an advanced level. The hindrance for us now was the politics that's been over the last 2 months at KRU. Nobody wants to put in money when the house is not stable. That we'll agree. There's been political infighting. That is known out there. But the women are being treated the same in terms of training facilities. So for the first time, the women went to camp with the men at Turi. We have brought in Chris Brown specifically to deal with the Lionesses and also Jerome Pavata. We also had that last year. Last year, the Lionesses went for camp for 2 weeks in South Africa, in Cape Town, fully funded by San Clemente Rhinos. So we have a partnership there. We paid them half allowances because we don't have the money. Simply, yes, we are cash strapped, but we're doing the best we can. As late as January, we made a payment, but just remember, the women don't have a sponsor.
Right. We will continue this conversation. We'll take a very, very short break, water break, as sportsmen, the terminology they would use, and we're back with much more on Sport On after this.